What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Critics say Taiwan's decision to hand out civil defense booklets could actually heighten tensions with China. Still, some officials are defending the move. Alan Liu reports.
Taiwan has been giving out this updated civil defense handbook. Brought out in September, it's meant to help people in Taiwan prepare for emergencies and understand the potential risks of a Chinese attack. But now the move has strong criticism, especially at a time of rising tensions between Taiwan and China. The Defense Ministry responded to the criticism during a legislative session on Monday, saying future revisions would take comments and concerns into account. But officials also emphasized the importance of preparing for the possibility of an attack from a powerful adversary, China.
我们也是模仿现在俄乌战争以后，在欧洲的这些国家，它先进的国家也依照这个方法来制定它全民防卫手册的一个全民防卫韧性的一个要求。
Some Taiwanese officials have also been passing out handbooks in person. The Deputy Secretary General of Taiwan's National Security Council gave out copies on Friday. He called China's government a troublemaker and said the book could help boost Taiwan's ability to protect itself.
我们现在正在做的事情就是透过所有的努力去确保台海和平稳定能够被延续，也确保现状不会被单方面的破坏。
But residents have had mixed reactions. Some believe this is the right move.
我们可能大家都过得好像就是比较幸福啦，所以没有那个危机意识啊。我觉得这个政府加进来，让我们可以多知道这方面的知识。
While others say the book serves more for political purposes.
对我来讲，我觉得它的政治工具感觉用的比实际运用程度还要大，所以我觉得它的实际效果应该没有到很好，因为毕竟这些东西网络上能找得到，我觉得没有必要浪费钱去做资本。
Distribution to nearly 10 million mailboxes across the country is ongoing. In the meantime, the Defense Ministry says the handbook is accessible online, and that versions in English and other languages will be available soon. Fu Hua-hong and Alan Liu for TaiwanPlus.
3 people have been charged over the hacking of Radio Taiwan International's website in September. The 3 had worked for the national broadcaster as employees or contractors. They allegedly altered the banner on RT's homepage to display China's flag. Prosecutors are charging them with computer security offenses and breach of trust. One of the indicted is former RTI engineer Wu Zhenxun, who faces up to 3 years in prison. Wu is accused of multiple illegal acts and of planning another similar attack on National Day in October. Taiwan's Deputy Foreign Minister says the government will continue to work with like-minded countries to defend regional peace as tensions grow.
对我们来讲，遇到我们有越多的朋友，一定是越好。那日本或欧洲跟美国，我自己这样的感觉，对于那个台海稳定这个共同利益的那个力量是越来越强化。
This comes as tensions grow between Beijing and Tokyo following Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae's remarks about Taiwan 2 weeks ago. This weekend, China referred the matter to the United Nations, saying that under the UN Charter, it has the right to defend itself from Japan's, quote, aggression. On Sunday, Japan's defense minister visited Yonaguni, the closest Japanese island to Taiwan, and announced that missiles would be stationed there. China has also been conducting live-fire exercises in the nearby Yellow Sea. Taiwan's deputy foreign minister would not comment on Japan's self-defense plans, but said the 2 sides remain in contact. Taiwan has expressed disappointment that its application to join the CPTPP, a regional trade bloc, was not discussed at the group's most recent meeting in Melbourne. The Foreign Ministry said it deeply regrets the decision. It said the failure to process Taiwan's bid sends the wrong message to the world and suggested the 12-member bloc is succumbing to political pressure. Taiwan submitted its application to the CPTPP more than 4 years ago, just days after Beijing put in its own. China openly opposed Taiwan's membership, raising fears it could prevent Taiwan from joining. The bloc meanwhile announced it will start the process to bring in Uruguay. It also said the applications for United Arab Emirates, the Philippines, and Indonesia will move forward. And for more on Taiwan's journey to joining the CPTPP, our reporter Chris Gorin spoke to Roy Chun Lee, an associate research fellow at the Zhonghua Institution of Economic Research and former Taiwan representative to the European Union.
The most recent CPTPP Commission meeting ended in Melbourne recently with no mention of Taiwan's application to join the agreement, despite the fact that it submitted an application more than 4 years ago. In your view, Roy, why does this keep happening?
Well, just like any other international trade agreements, there are always two domains for existing members to consider when they are facing new applications. The first one is, of course, merit-based domain. The other is the political reality. So on the merit-based considerations, I think most CPTPP members have already expressed their agreement that Taiwan met all the obligations, all the requirements as a new member of the CPTPP. So you can see Taiwan's delay is because of the second consideration, that is the political domain. Because currently, both China and Taiwan have all filed our application into the CPTPP Secretary. So for the CPTPP members to consider Taiwan's applications, they have to really address the issue of China, the so-called China issue. That is China's explicit opposition to Taiwan's CPTPP membership.
So if member countries can't find a way to address both Taiwan and China's applications to join the agreement, does that mean Taiwan's application is effectively frozen, or could something happen that might see this situation shift?
Well, the world has changed a lot in the last 12 months, especially since President Trump introduced the reciprocal tariff trade regime. So the global supply chain is now under tremendous pressure to reform. We can see a lot of investments are leaving China, and also we are seeing everyone is rushing to the US to invest and create new supply chain ecosystem. So what I'm saying is that, yes, in the last 4 or 5 years, Taiwan's application has been effectively blocked by the China issue. But I think the new supply chain situation really creates some pressure for other countries to reconsider. So I'm still confident that in the next 2-3 years, Taiwan will be able to produce even more evidence for CPT members to start seriously considering the advantage to move Taiwan into the next phase.
The response from Taiwan's foreign ministry this year used some relatively strong language, saying member countries are sending the wrong message that they are succumbing to political coercion. Do you see this as a change in Taiwan's diplomatic strategy to take a more assertive stance?
Well, I think for a country like Taiwan, especially all these difficulties Taiwan is facing in international politics, our ultimate principle is remain flexible, agile and flexible. So even though at this very specific occasion, MOFA used very specific, relatively strong language to express our frustration about the delay and Taiwan's blockade because of China's political pressure. So I think the frustration this year is different, not only because of the slowness of Taiwan's application, but also because of the lack of information that the Commission chair is willing to share with all the stakeholders. So I think hopefully, I don't think this is a permanent position that we have taken. I think it is very 2025 specific.
That was Roy Chun Lee from CIER. New talks on peace in Ukraine have split reactions. Washington says it's made progress towards U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan, but there's pushback in Europe and on the ground in Ukraine as Russian attacks continue. John Van Trieste reports.
It's been a night of fresh destruction and carnage in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. A new Russian drone strike has killed 4 people and wounded 17. Right now, U.S., Ukrainian, and European officials are trying to bring an end to almost 4 years of fighting between Russia and Ukraine. and people here hope something will come through to end their suffering.
We want peace, and we want all this to end quickly so that we can live in peace and our children don't have to see this.
Mr. President!
U.S. President Donald Trump has given Kyiv until Thursday to accept his 28-point peace plan. This would see Ukraine cede land to Russia, cut its military, and pledge never to join NATO. Trump says it's not his final offer, but it's the plan he wants to see go through.
Hi, guys.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is upbeat about how peace talks in Geneva have gone so far.
We arrived here today with one goal, and the goal was to take, is 28 points or 26 points, depending on which version as it continued to evolve, and try to narrow the ones that were open items. And we have achieved that today in a very substantial way.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has thanked the Trump administration after Trump called Ukraine ungrateful for his work. Zelensky says he feels Trump's team is hearing Ukraine, and he says he expects more talks ahead to defend Ukraine's interests.
The unity of Ukrainians in the defense of their national interests and of our independence and our sovereignty. This is what works. There are directives given to the Ukrainian delegation. There is the direction our Ukrainian delegation follows, and it would be very desirable we don't have opposing signals, non-Ukrainian signals, coming from Ukraine.
Trump's plan isn't the only one out there, though. Several of Ukraine's European allies want a higher cap on the size of Ukraine's military, and crucially, no talk of ceding land.
First, borders cannot be changed by force. Second, as a sovereign nation, there cannot be limitations on Ukraine's armed forces that would leave the country vulnerable to future attack and thereby also undermining European security. Third, the centrality of the European Union in securing peace for Ukraine must be fully reflected.
Trump's plan also has strong critics who see it as too lenient on Russia. And this is especially the case inside Ukraine. In places like this graveyard in the Kyiv suburb of Bucha, the final resting place of many killed in an early Russian assault, Trump's plan is a non-starter.
Let Trump's sons come here. Let them feel our pain. Let them see all this. And maybe then they will change their minds. War breeds hatred. There is hatred in many Ukrainians against Russia. It is internal. It cannot be said at all. I will speak for myself. Yes, my son. My son's grave is there.
If they sign these terms, it won't be very good. Because what did our men fight for just so that our land could be taken away? I don't like that option. If there were other terms, if they left our territories, then yes, I would agree. But when they take away our territory, where we have lived all our lives, where our homes are, I don't agree.
So even as talks proceed in far-off places like Geneva, in Ukraine there is no pause to this war, as both sides exchange attacks, and the next drone strike could come at any moment. Joseph Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Flooding and landslides have killed at least 90 people in Vietnam in the last week and left many others stranded. Heavy rain has been hitting the south-central part of the country for around a month, causing hundreds of millions of US dollars in losses. Vietnam is used to rain from June to September, but scientists say climate change is making extreme weather there more frequent and more intense. Taiwanese golfer Chia-Yen has claimed the top spot at the DAIO Paper Elleair Ladies Open in Japan. It's her first title on the Japan Ladies Professional Golfers Association Tour after joining it last year. She wrapped up the tournament at 15 under with a final score of 269. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of Christmas lights illuminating Barcelona and Madrid. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
For more stories from Taiwan and Osaka, download the TaiwanPlus app.